High-intensity interval training is all the rage, and for good reason. Studies have shown that it's a great way to increase your oxygen consumption, and the benefit there is the more oxygen we consume, the more fat we burn, and the sooner we change our body composition to look stronger and leaner. So what is high-intensity interval training? It really just means that we're working at a very high intensity where your heart rate is really going and your breathing rate is really high, but we're only doing it in intervals. So to start, I use an application called Tabata, and it's a free app. It times you for 20 seconds of work and 10 seconds of rest. So that's my interval. I'm going to do 20 seconds on and 10 seconds off for up to 20 minutes, okay? So you can set your app to time you that way. Pick exercises that you can do with what you have around you. You don't have to jump, you don't have to slam things, and you don't have to injure yourself or do things that are real high impact. Some good rules of thumb to get your heart rate up are to just move side to side. When we move side to side instead of forward like we do in everyday life, your body doesn't recognize that motion, and we're using a lot of different muscles in the hips and the core. So your natural response is to get your heart rate up a little bit. So moving side to side for 20 seconds as fast as you can without injuring yourself, and then resting for 10 seconds and repeating that interval is a great way to do some high-intensity interval training. A second exercise that you can do is just getting down and getting back up again. When we change levels and go from standing to sitting or from standing to the floor and back up again, that's very demanding on our heart rate. And again, it's going to get the heart rate going and the breathing rate going, increase your oxygen consumption, and make you a better fat burner. So find some places at your home or even your office or your gym where you can go from up to down and up again as hard as you can safely for 20 seconds, take a 10-second break, and repeat that cycle for up to 20 minutes. What you might want to do is go back to the side-to-side exercise in between just to give you some variety. And then the third way to get your heart rate up without a lot of impact or jarring is to crawl. It uses all your muscles. And we haven't done it since we were kids, but it's a great way to use a lot of muscles, get very strong, get your heart rate up, and it's safe because we're not jumping, we're not jarring, and we're not adding impact. So if you don't want to crawl on the floor, you can just put your hands on your table or your couch and just pretend you're crawling, get the legs going a little bit. Maybe challenge yourself to get the arms going separately, or maybe you can kind of simulate a crawl that way. It doesn't have to be glamorous, it doesn't have to be high impact, but it does have to be consistent. And I'd like you to shoot for this about 2 times a week, working at a heart rate that's uncomfortable, catching your breath for 10 seconds, and then getting uncomfortable again in an interval fashion. That's high-intensity interval training. I'd love to hear your questions on that. Follow us on Facebook. Find me at laurapcoombs.com, and until next time, make fitness count.